to, you know, need to get enough sleep. And I'm just excited that I have some time off for the holiday, or for, you know, we're going to be able to get away to go downstate to see your family for Thanksgiving, which will be fun. And so I'm looking forward to that, kind of just reboot my engines and rest up a little bit.
Yeah.
But Addiction doesn't take vacations, and it's around all the time and never a dull moment. But I do love my job, and I'm committed to my job, and I'm committed to, you know, the people in recovery, and I support all the efforts that people are, you know, doing. And I understand it's hard, and people struggle, and I just have to do the best I can to, you know, coordinate services for them to get them what they need and meet them where they're at. You know, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. It can be frustrating sometimes because being or have been down some of those paths. I mean, it's frustrating when you see somebody who was at, like, if I'm at stage 5 now and it goes to stage 10, if I'm at stage 5 and I remember being at stage 2 and 3 and I see someone else at those same stages and I just want to, it's like flip the baseball bat and be like, oh, I'll just come back tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You know, but you can't really do that, and there's no right way to do it for everybody. You know, it's different for everybody, and that's kind of, I think, what you mean by meeting them where they're at. Is it's their own journey, and if it wasn't so hard for me, if it wasn't so hard for you, it wouldn't feel so good now.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't be screaming everywhere, hey, recovery's awesome, everybody should get some. Mm-hmm. And if it was just easy, you know, if I didn't have to shed all those tears and feel all that pain, it definitely wouldn't be the same as it is right now. So, you know, as much as I want to grab people and pull them back onto the track, like, hey, get back over here, it's just like, well, you know, this is their journey.
Yeah.
You know, this is part of their story.
And that's completely it. It's trying to maintain your composure and recognize that, you know, they are where they are, and all you can do is, you know, voice and express, you know, your support for them and what they're, you know, trying to do. And if you can, you know, steer them back in the right direction, or let them know, you know, reiterate to them that they're worth it and recovery's worth it. And I know that it's hard, and I know that it takes work. And that, you know, if you want to say like failures or whatever, excuse me, or relapses, doesn't mean that you give up. Doesn't mean that you know, throw in the towel. And you can, you know, you can turn things around no matter where you're at. We have to. You know, if I gave up, I mean, I felt like I gave up a lot of times over again. But the thing is looking back, there are so many times I wish there was somebody on the other end that would have just, you know, told me that, yeah, it sucks, but things can be okay, but you got to make some changes, and you have to make some decisions, and, you know, you have to do the next right thing, and you have to keep doing that. And that's hard to hear sometimes, especially when you're down, you know, because you feel so bad about, you know, what you've done, or, you know, the shame and the guilt of mistakes, but don't give up, you know.
Yeah, I was just thinking about when I was in the hospital. Many times, but I remember telling the nurse that I really did want to die. And I was asking her to give me stuff. I was like, just give me stuff to make me die. And I think that there was an open where my mom was saying that, you know, I don't think you really wanted to die, but because I don't think I really wanted to die, but it was just in that moment, I felt so alone, and I felt so miserable, and so much guilt. I just don't ever want to feel that again. I felt so alone.
Mm-hmm.
And just laying there in that hospital bed, which is very uncomfortable, and just being cold, and just, it's just, I don't ever want to feel that again. The physical, the emotional, it was hell.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God that I'm in a position now where I don't have to. You know, I'm going to go to bed tonight, and I didn't drink today.
Yeah.
I didn't use any drugs today.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. Instead, I got my cat waiting for me to come and do a podcast. You know, so those are things that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, where your journey's at now, I'm not sure, or maybe your loved one's journey, but it is possible. And you know, I thank God for your mother. I thank God for my mother, you know, not giving up on us.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the case for some people. You know, some people, their parents are gone.
Yeah.
And, you know, some people don't have the luxury of good, strong families like we do. Like, sure, my real father or whatever, he's not in the picture, but I still have a great stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
And I still have people, you know, and not that it's an excuse or anything, but I feel for those people that don't have that. And I think that's where AA and NA and meetings like that are really important for those people, you know, to reach out. And I'm sure they, you know, there's friends out there, but when you become such an addict and alcohol, the drug just takes over your life, because that's what it does to our brain, then you probably don't have very many friends. Mm-hmm. And the people you're calling friends aren't really your friends.
Right.
But, you know, church is very important. It's a good place to meet good people, man. Not everybody that goes to church is good people, but I'm just saying, like, if you want to get involved and feel that sense of community, that sense of belonging, I haven't seen a church turn people away.
Yeah.
Well, I did on TV, or maybe it was YouTube, where this preacher, did you show it to me? He acted like he was homeless.
Yeah.
And nobody would talk to him. Then he gets up there. And
he was a new minister of a church, and they had arranged. Well, I mean, some of the church knew that what he was planning on doing, but he dressed up as a very disheveled looking homeless man, unkept, you know, so dirty and what have you, and came into the church without, you know, the rest of the congregation knowing that he was the new minister. And, you know, I guess he came and very few people greeted him and kind of shunned him, I guess, and in terms of not being very warm and welcoming. And then I guess he sat like towards the back of the church, and then they, you know, brought it up, introduced him, like, he's you know, our new minister is actually here today. Let me introduce you to blah, blah, blah. And then he came up and, you know, explained who he was, and that he said that, you know, you need to love everyone, and church is a place you don't turn anyone away. I have to find that.
Yeah, but most churches that I've been to, though,
yeah, that was just
they're not like that. And if you're like anywhere near Southwest Michigan, a church I used to go to, there's one in Pawpaw too, Pawpaw, Michigan, but it's called Freshwater Church. It's non-denominational. The first time I went there, I was greeted by this guy named Brian, and this big old smile, and he's like, "Hey, how are you doing?" You know, he's like, "This is your first time here. I've never seen you before, you know, but welcome." And he explained everything to me. It was like, there's donuts. I'm like, oh, this dude knows me, you know, but it was cool. I felt very welcomed, and it wasn't like fake. It wasn't like sometimes I've walked in though, and it's got this 14-year-old kid handing out brochures. Well, hello, sir. And I'm like, come on, kiddo. Like, you wouldn't be here unless your dad made you come, you know, but it's just a good feeling. And so, I mean, if you're in Southwest Michigan, you know, I would try Freshwater, you know, tell me what you think. But I loved it. It was good people. And I felt a sense of community there. And I wasn't going there very long. And they're like, hey, why don't you come over? We're having like and it wasn't a Bible study at all. It was just a get together. Like nobody was talking about we were just talking about life. You know, it was great. And it was a good step away because at that time I had just been going to AA meetings and AA meetings and AA meetings and AA meetings. And was getting that, you're an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic, you're an alcoholic, getting that beat into my head where I hung out with them and it was just like, hey, what do I talk about if I'm not talking about me being an alcoholic? And it was like fantasy football, here's, I got nephews and I don't know, it was just great, to kind of get away from that. And, that's why when I go to meetings now, and that's not the only reason, but I say I'm a person in recovery, because that's what it means to me. But yeah, find that community though. Mm-hmm. Back to the point of that topic, and it can be hard, especially like I said for people who don't have the family. But it's not that hard. It can be done.
Right.
And a good life is out there, for sure. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty stubborn. I think you are too.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, I think that. Not stubborn, maybe, but you were just like, I can control this, though.
Oh, you're talking about with alcoholism? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, aren't we all?
Yeah. Tell me, whatever.
Yeah. I think that just kind of just is a given.
I think you were probably extra hard with it. Like, no, I'm smart. Like, you don't understand. Yeah, okay, I can never drink again. Okay.
Yeah.
You seem like you'd be a stubborn one. I wonder who had it worse, your mom or my mom. I can't wait till they compare war stories.
Oh, God.
We should have them do that at the ceremony, the wedding ceremony.
Oh, you think so?
Just roast us.
Part of it?
Remember that time you were in the hospital bed, Corey?
No, it would end up with just like tears and sadness, and no. We're not doing that.
No. I don't know. My mom tells them doozies.
Oh, I'm sure. They'll have time to do that.
Remember the time you woke up from your blackout or whatever? You're standing there naked, and I was like, I looked over, my mom was there, my stepdad was there. I'm like, where's my pants? They're like, oh, we took them from you. I was like, why? And they're like, because we thought you were going to kill yourself. I was like, huh? They're like, you were saying some things that made us. I was like, oh. Well, can I have them back? And I was like, yeah. I know I laugh about it now, but I mean, that's the only thing I can really do about that one.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying there's stories, even if there is humor in them, but no.
I'm sure they'll have that talk, though. Oh, man. I don't want them to trade war stories like that, though.
I think they'll be tactful.
Yeah, I can't wait.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. Let them do a podcast. Oh, that'd be horrible. That'd be horrible, but awesome at the same time. Right? Like, I would be so afraid. I'm like, oh, no. Like, just put your mom over there and my mom over here and just turn it on and walk out the room. Kind of like I did with you and my mom and my sister. Mm-hmm. It's like, here you go.
I think that one was really good.
Yeah, I liked it. That was back in, February?
I think so, yeah.
All women episode or women take over or something. I remember what that one was called. But, meh. We'll see on that. I'm going to have George and Tony do a podcast with me one day.
That'll be good.
I think next week.
Awesome.
George just beat me at fantasy football in the 217 Recovery League.
We're tied.
I know. 7-4. Marty's team, my team tied.
Mm-hmm.
But I lost to George on purpose.
Did you?
Yeah, I mean, I started Matt Ryan. I mean, what sensible football guy starts Matt Ryan? He sucks. So I'd let George win. Or, I mean, we can go back and count all the yards. That's why I told him that we're going to count all the yards. And communist NFL was just rigging it so that I would lose. Unless it's some other stuff that I'm not going to say on this podcast. But, George, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that'll be good. And that'll probably be next week. Thanksgiving, obviously, Thursday we'll do a show. We'll have some special guests on, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, Yeah, just hang in there, and if it's tough, reach out. Marnie and I are always here.